Congratulations to our next recipient, Lori Jennings, WSVN TV and WPLG TV, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Lori's presenter is WPLG Local 10 News anchor, Calvin Hughes.
You know, the years really flew by. Nearly a decade we were together. So often in the TV business, on-air relationships are defined by big stories, and we certainly hit our share. It began with the BP oil spill, the presidential elections, the announcement of King James coming to the Heat, back-to-back NBA championships covering Cuba, the Pope, and Obama's visits to Havana, and Castro's death. Of course, the big storms, countless hours together, and for the tragic ones, too. The Parkland school shooting, FIU bridge collapse, Pulse nightclub Orlando, the crazy car chases, and the stories go on and on. And again, the big stories, defining moments of our relationship. But as partners, what defined our friendship, our special bond for me, were the moments off here before every broadcast. Our conversations in the makeup room, witnessing how much dedication and commitment Lori has in being the best wife and mother that she could possibly be. Look, Lori could perfectly put on makeup, go through the homework assignments of Luke and Jake, her twin boys, make sure her husband Josh had what he needed for dinner, race out to the set for the 4 p.m. newscast, look like she's straight out of Vogue magazine, and flawlessly anchor the show, finish at 4:30, and pick up the conversation where she left off with her boys. The woman is a master multitasker, and that takes talent. It's one of her many gifts, and she is a blessing, too. I was blessed to have her as a partner. In 2010, she had been the solo anchor at Local 10, the face of our station, the matriarch of our family. Yet when I came on board as her co-anchor, no drama, no issues. A true professional always. I was lucky at that time. She was graceful at that time and continues to be. Did we laugh? Yes, of course. I could go on and on with our babysitter stories. We changed babysitters like they were socks. I have so many stories. She's probably laughing right now because she knows that those were so funny. But bottom line here, the universe brought together two people with very different backgrounds. And as I mentioned before, a special bond was born. So congratulations, my friend, on 30 years of unforgettable years in TV. Half of them spent at Local 10, nearly a third spent together with me. And again, I was the lucky one because of your grace.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lori Jennings, live in Washington, D.C. The nation.
Thank you so much for being right here with us.
No place gets the heart beating quite like.
Glad you're choosing to be with us.
I'm Lori Jennings with our live team coverage. A nation on notice. The president.
The Lori Jennings we know from the past 2 decades on the evening anchor desk in South Florida.
Lori Jennings joins us live from Vatican City with the very latest. Lori?
And traveling the globe, covering breaking news.
In South Africa. From just outside Port-au-Prince, Haiti.
Got her start performing in a different venue. Growing up, Lori's passion to perform propelled her onto the stage, singing and acting from childhood through her teen years.
People were telling me, forget college, go to Broadway.
Fortunately for us, Lori did not follow that advice, choosing instead to go to Cornell.
And the next thing you know, I saw this microphone to come get trained as a radio DJ or a newscaster. And I just found my way with the newscasting. I just loved it. I loved writing, I loved current events. And for me, it was the right combination of the writer in me and the performer in me.
For Cable News Center 7, I'm Lori Jennings.
By her senior year at Cornell,
This is Cable News Center 7.
Lori was working part-time at a local cable station.
If you find that one a little hard to believe, you're not alone.
She seemed to have a spark on camera even then, but she wanted to be really ready for this career.
I'm Kathy Cronenberger. And I'm Lori Jennings. We're graduate students at Northwestern's Medill School of Journalism.
Congressman Smith will vote against any substitute proposals tomorrow.
With her master's from Northwestern
The homeless problem just gets worse.
I'm Lori Jennings, and this is News Brief.
and her training at Cornell,
WKBN.
Lori quickly landed her first full-time reporting job in Youngstown, Ohio.
Tom Holden, Lori Jennings.
What was expected to be a simple public hearing this morning.
And being promoted to weekend anchor meant writing and producing the whole show. Plus,
Thunderstorms right.
doing the weather.
We still have our nice high pressure system there.
But it all paid off.
And probably the one other most remembered highlight.
2 years later, she was on the move to a major TV market.
Cleveland's own News Center 8.
Good evening, everyone. The confrontation happened early today on U.S. Route 250.
I was morning anchor, I was weekend anchor, I was their specials reporter.
Lori landed her first major stories in Cleveland, earned her first Emmy Awards, and produced a 5-part series and a half-hour special
Armenia is the smallest.
on a medical mission to Armenia after a devastating earthquake.
You know everyone around here? Looks like it, huh?
Her award-winning reporting helped launch Lori's career. To Boston.
I'm Randy Price.
And I'm Lori Jennings. On this Friday, it is a morning for caution on the roads.
And after less than a year, Lori's live reports from war-torn Northern Ireland led to Sunbeam Television to bring her from its Boston station.
You are watching 7 News at 10 with Rick Sanchez. Lori Jennings.
Want the best?
To its Miami powerhouse, WSVN.
Good evening, everyone. The bodies of those killed will be flown to Delaware. Another major story from the night team.
First time I saw Ground Zero after 9/11.
It wasn't long before the networks were vying for Lori, and by 2003, she was off to New York City.
From NBC News, sitting in tonight, Lori Jennings.
And good evening, everyone. Brian is on assignment.
Major traffic closures and detours during the Democratic convention.
Lori, good morning again.
Good morning to you both. Law enforcement agencies around the nation.
But after 1 year at the network, Lori and her husband Josh were suddenly expecting. And when Local 10 needed a main anchor, all signs were pointing this couple back to beautiful South Florida.
I found out today I'm having 2 boys, 2 identical boys, and a girl. Can you believe?
Lori and Josh lost the triplets, but were blessed a year later with the news of twins.
They were 4.5 months early. We spent, 4.5 months in the NICU every single night.
Lori's identical twin boys were born extremely premature. Luke and Jake barely survived. It was a life event that bonded Lori with her viewers forever.
Hi, I'm Lori Jennings. Premature birth is the #1 cause of infant death.
And then as I watched her balance family and her career, she was always on top of her game during her career, but she was also giving that same love and that attention that she needed to for her family.
Lori Jennings.
It was back to Rome for Popes Benedict and Francis, to Switzerland for Art Basel. Then a heartbreaking trip to join me in Haiti after the 2010 earthquake.
It was just by far the most intense human struggling that I'd ever seen.
A 30-year news career honored by 6 Emmy Awards, numerous Best Anchor distinctions, and the highest praise from every charity where Lori remains committed.
County Deputy Mayor Maurice County.
Congratulations, Lori.
And to your future.
And cheers to your next chapter
Hi, welcome to Stories with Lori.
as you continue on camera and on stage, representing the very best of South Florida.
Cheers to the next chapter indeed. I've been living it for a little over a year now, and I must say it's pretty special owning my own time and having real time for my husband, our teenage boys, and my parents up north, let alone owning my own face and voice for the first time in as long as I can remember. A friend of mine said to me, "You used to be the news lady, now you're the TV lady." And I like the sound of that. She's right, it's true. TV will always be a part of my life. I've launched my own broadcast media company called Lori Jennings Live, and I'm really excited to take on some new flexible TV projects and represent a few South Florida companies and nonprofits as their spokesperson. That will be so worthwhile. And the news business, it's a fantastic career, and it does stay with you for life. It's current, it's fast-paced, it's full of adrenaline and deadlines. I mean, you are either addicted to it or it pushes you right out. I remember my first day in a real newsroom. It was WUSA in Washington, D.C., first TV internship. The noise and the smoke were insane. People yelling over the loud manual typewriters, old pizza boxes just decaying everywhere, tons of smoking in the newsroom. I mean, most people would run for their lives and say, forget it. I loved it. I thought, sign me up. This is so exciting. TV news is not for everyone, but some of us just thrive on that adrenaline. And then the best part is being able to help people, not only when natural disasters occur like a hurricane or this unprecedented pandemic, but when a viewer calls simply because they can't get help anywhere else and they feel like they know you and trust you. So you make that one call for them and suddenly that family gets help. And that makes you feel really good to be of service and make a difference for people. Calvin and I would get so emotional at times when people would come up to us on the street and stop us and just give us the most sincere thank you for helping them during a crisis, like after the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting or Hurricane Irma, when so many of us lost power for weeks, if not months. People were so grateful for all the hours we stayed on the air. They were worried about us, in fact, that we weren't getting enough sleep and we weren't seeing our families. They were so kind. It's a beautiful thing when this business of ours helps us help others and make a lasting impact. And that makes all the long hours and sacrifice worth it. And speaking of Calvin, thank you for your nice words, Calvin, and for being my news husband of 9 years. I have been so fortunate to work with some of the best co-anchors in South Florida, starting with Rick Sanchez, who taught me so much about breaking news, Craig Stevens, who always brought his A game and kept us laughing non-stop, Dwight Lauderdale, well, hello, he's just a legend, Charles Perez, a natural TV talent, and Calvin Hughes, the longest co-anchor of mine in the long list of 16 co-anchors in all. We've covered some of the biggest news stories of our careers together, and he is top-notch, a friend for life. So please raise a glass with me and help me honor all of the honorees tonight for their years of dedication to our industry and for making a difference. Cheers to Natus for this beautiful recognition. I know we're all in very good company now in the Silver Circle, a very elite group. And I hope to see you soon in TV commercials or launching a show, maybe launching my own podcast, who knows, or virtually hosting an event for one of my beloved charities. But don't worry, I'll be socially distanced, I promise. It is a whole new world we're in right now. And most importantly, I just wish you all good health, safety, and good news. Cheers.